Hey everybody, just a tie-dye rock guy here. If you like rocks or tie-dye or Bible talk, then you are in the right spot. Been a while since I did a tie-dye video. I'm gonna be doing a swirl here, but I've pre-soaked my shirt in soda ash and I've spun it out. It's a little damp, but not too damp. You can kind of see. Leaves the table a little wet, but it's not like sopping wet. So, kind of flatten it out. Make sure you spread it out here and got good flat surface to work with. I like to have my tie-dye like right, or excuse me, the center of the swirl like right under the armpit area. You can kind of see. I'm going to start right about here. You can start over here or wherever you want really. Bottom, middle, side looks pretty cool as well. But yeah, I'm just going to start the basic swirl. I do have a little tool that helps me here. I believe it's hemostats or something. I don't know, got them from a friend. You can also just use your fingers, or some people use a fork. I like the hemostat because you can just grab it. Don't do it too tight because it's kind of hard to get off of there. And then you just start your swirl here. I like to kind of push down on the edges so that it gives it a nice big flat swirl. That way it's not bunching up. You see how this is kind of bunched up here. Gonna go back and work that out a little. And then here's about the time I would take the hemostats out, because you can put a hole in your shirt if you do it too tight or too long. Pulling it out gets more difficult as you go. So here we go. This is a Gildan G500 or 5000, one of those. Doesn't say, but it's a nice heavy cotton. I like this shirt. A lot of people use the Turtlex, I believe it's called. I'm not as familiar with that. Trying to make sure I got even folds here. Make sure and take your time. This is the most time consuming part, but if you get this part right, that's what makes the tie-dye fun, is that it looks so cool. Alright, that just took a couple minutes, and we'll get it over to the dye station and make it look all cool. So here we are at the dye station. I'm going to start with a black line across here, and then do yellow, red, yellow, orange, red, and I'm gonna let this shirt batch for about 24 hours. So I did a unique blend with my dye here. I did some red castor oil, and a little bit of table salt, turkey red castor oil. and a little bit of table salt, and that's supposed to help the dye spread inwardly, and then the salt is supposed to help it stay. So we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to work my way in here, be gentle, press down on the fabric, work in between the folds. Got this needle nose point, which really helps get in between. And I'm doing black first so that the yellow and blue don't mix. I'm going to do kind of a fire and ice theme. This one is almost done. Should look something like that. So I'm probably also going to do multiple layers. Making sure I get my dye all the way through that fabric. So I start from the outside as well and kind of work my way in so that I'm not oversaturating the middle part and then flooding it, because that's what can cause those issues of unwanted colors running together. There's my cat in the background doing something in the pantry. I don't even know if the camera picked that up. That is also my cat playing with her toy. So that's great for the video. Everybody say hi to Lucy's toy. She's a very spoiled girl. So again, I'm going to start kind of back here. Just slowly work my way up there. Try to not interfere too much in the other line. And work my way back out, making sure I go through all the folds. She's ridiculous. Look at her. I lose the cat. So, guess we're just gonna have to work with the noise. Thanks for bearing with me, y'all. Calling this the Fire and Ice theme swirl. I love it. It's been nice to get back into some tie-dye. Been doing some cool stuff, some mandalas. Trying to really figure out that mandala technique, and I figured out that layering works great, and this castor oil stuff works great for anybody who's working with mandalas and struggling with penetration issues. Do multiple layers. Squeeze it. We're not going to do any squeezing today. I am using Dharma dyes. I'm going to overlap a little there. Press down on the fabric. And that'll help kind of go through to the other side so you can see the pattern. And it'll help with penetration. Go to the other side here. Work on those outer layers. Get in between the folds. You can also go through after you're done with some tweezers or toothpicks or disposable fork, whatever you got, and just kind of open these up. Make sure you get, see? Make sure you get all the way down in there with your black and your blue. So just going through and working through some of the black. I noticed some of it did not penetrate down into those folds. So I gotta go back through. Make sure you do it right the first time. And then you don't have to refold it or try to re-dye it or over-dye it or whatever. Back to the dark blue. I guess this is regular blue. This is turquoise from Dharma. This is baby blue from Dharma. Definitely a Dharma fan. Got great customer service as well. Hit it with a little more turquoise. Make sure to get in between those folds. I can't stress that enough. Gonna be a sad boy when you open that up and you got a bunch of white after you rinsed it out, and you have to tie it all over again. So that's the eyes side. And I'm starting with the lightest color first. And the back side again. Going big slice of pizza in my pizza pie. If you look at this as like a pizza pie, that's what my reference is to. You want a big bunch of yellow. Be careful with that metal, just a tiny little drip. Save the flooding for back here when things get more dense. This one is actually for my wife. I'm excited to give it to her. Because I have a matching one, and therefore we will have matching tie-dye shirts. Who else can say they have that? I know a couple people for sure, but not many can say that they have a matching tie-dye shirt with their spouse or significant other. Looks like candy corn. That disgusting candy. It's just gross sugar. I don't eat sugar. Literally tattooed on me. No sugar and let food be your medicine. That is part of my story just because of all the health stuff I've been through. No doctor ever told me that my health was closely related to what I ate. I found that out through a lot of trial and error. So, what's your favorite song these days? Drop it in the comments. Go real gently there. Make sure not to flood the area too much. Might need to go through with that black, yeah. But I also need to flip it over, so probably do that then. Alright, side one is pretty much done. I'm gonna go through and just make sure I got all the deep dark holes here. I'm just using my finger, but I have tweezers somewhere, I swear. A little bit more blue, I think, yeah. Maybe even some more teal, my goodness. That's crazy. Always good to check in between your folds, people. There we are. Grabbed the wrong blue and grabbed baby blue instead of regular blue. side one complete. And flip it over and do the same thing. Alright, so you can see how well it worked, kind of pushing the needle nose stuff down on the fabric. Really helps that dye penetrate. Oh man, I should always start with the black line if I'm going to be outlining things first, so let me start there. Alright, there we go. So we're going to do lightest colors first. So I'm kind of using the tip of the needle nose to finger through the folds here. I hope the camera's kind of picking that up. I'm pushing down on the fabric, again to try to ensure penetration. I'm gonna fill that in a bit. Let's see, what are you doing? You crazy girl. Now she's over in my tie-dye area messing around looking at my stuff. Almost done here. And then we're gonna let it sit for about 24 hours in 75-degree heat. You can put it by a vent if you want. I just have my house at 75 because that's the way I like it. And I'm just gonna let it sit here overnight and rinse it out in the morning. Probably lose a bit of the color. But it is what it is. Sometimes we lose some of the yellow in there. I'll make sure and show the finished results. Probably be the pen nail or thumbnail. Hopefully it turns out beautiful and wonderful. Maybe a few little happy accidents. Alright, I think that's about done. I call it good. Maybe a little more black in the middle. Just for fun. Really ensure that what happens is some part of the yellow will run into the blue and some part will turn green. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but I have the tiniest drop of yellow here that turned into green. So we're going to try to just flood that. And it'll probably not be very noticeable. So we'll see you in a little bit for the results. Alright, so here's the final product. You can see the overlap in color wasn't really bad at all. There's no real green. There are a couple tiny specks, but we don't have to talk about it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like for more of my content.